tapping back into the dark side of TikTok, and what I found is completely disturbing. Welcome back, family. Before the video starts, I just want to thank all my channel members. Let's try to get to 100K before the end of 2025. Let's go.
Now, most of the comments on this video think it's AI, which is understandable, but it's not. Meet the planarian flatworm. It's a carnivorous species of worm that's found in dark places all over the world. And according to scientists, they are biologically immortal. In other words, they can't die from natural causes. But not only that, they also have the best regeneration abilities of any creature on Earth. They're basically indestructible. If you were to chop one of these bad boys in half, both halves will turn into two completely new worms. In fact, one researcher chopped one of these up into 279 pieces. You know what happened? 279 new worms happened. You can't kill it. You can only give it teammates. But the wild part is when you chop them up into pieces, all the pieces will have the same memories. And because of that, it's raised a whole bunch of questions regarding where memory is actually stored. Moral of the story, there's a chance that the movie Venom might have been a documentary. And as always, follow for more facts.
We've had a mid-air collision up here.
This is audio from the incident involving a U.S. Air Force tanker who didn't have its transponder on, passing right in front of a JetBlue A320. We did talk about this yesterday, but we have the ATC recording available now, so take a listen.
They passed directly in our flight path. They don't have their transponder turned on. It's outrageous.
So the JetBlue pilots were clearly irritated by this entire ordeal. In reality though, the planes only got within a few miles of each other, but at those speeds, it doesn't take long.
Getting close to a mid-air collision gotta be like one of the scariest things possible, because like if the planes hit, you're falling at 30,000 feet.
You ever see those body exhibits? In like the science center, they would have like a person's body and their peeled skin and everything like that, right? They're just on display and you see the inside of a human.
Oh yeah.
There's a theory. All of those bodies, they say, are unclaimed bodies that they were like volunteer for science, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them came from China. Now, the problem is, in order for the body to be put into that form as one of those statues, it needs to be within 2 days of death.
Oh shit.
In China, when the bodies are deemed as like unclaimed or for volunteer, it takes 30 days. So it doesn't line up. So all of those people, bodies that you see in the science places on display are murdered. Theory is those people were like enemies of whoever's pulling the strings.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll turn you into it.
Oh my.
That's a wild theory.
I swear. Oh my goodness. 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 A plane just crashed onto a car on a highway right in front of us. Holy wow.
Scientists have officially reversed aging. And the scary part is, barely anybody noticed. Scientists have been developing and using a process called cellular reprogramming. What this does is, instead of treating symptoms of aging, they reset the physical cells to a younger state. Now, they tested this on mice, and this is where it gets really flipping crazy. The mice didn't just live longer, their organs functioned far better, that of a young mice, and their tissues repaired far faster as well. In biological terms, they were physically younger. They had the appearance of being younger, they lived longer, and they were far healthier. Now, this doesn't mean immortality, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen to you or me just yet, but it proves something very interesting. Aging isn't just wear and tear in your body. It is a process, and processes can be altered.
Yeah, I've seen in previous videos where they said if you live to 2050, there's a good chance that you could live 2 to 3 times longer than the average lifespan right now.
Really like what a condition 1 in Antarctica is really like. Check this out. This is the entryway to our dorm. Normally this has carpet on the ground and the walls are just normally walls, you know. But we're going to open the door right now. It's a little bit like opening up the door to another world. Are you ready? It's a little bit blowy out there right now.
At the end of that clip, it said travel outside is not permitted during condition 1 weather. How does she even get to Antarctica? Does she like work there? Because last time we did an Antarctica deep dive, not a lot of people are allowed there, so.
This mom burned this guy alive because he essayed her 13-year-old daughter. This happened in Spain in 1998, and her name was Maria del Carmen Garcia. She's cooking dinner for her daughter and her husband, and as she's cooking, she runs out of bread. So she tells her daughter Veronica, who's the 13-year-old, she tells her, could you run up to the store real quick that's like pretty much up the street? As she was walking up the street, she ends up seeing her neighbor, who was this 62-year-old man named Antonio Cosme. This dude follows her kind of closer to the store, and I don't think she even got there. Goes up to her, tells her to get into his car, and he basically holds her at knife point. So he drives her to this random like woods, and this guy rapes this girl for hours. Eventually, he, crazy enough, drives this girl back to their neighborhood, and before he kicks her out of the car, he tells her, do not tell anybody or else I'm gonna kill you. She enters her home. For a while, she didn't say anything to her parents because she was so scared. Eventually, her mom gets her to open up about it. Her mom immediately was like, okay, we're gonna go to the police station. We're gonna go and talk to them, talk to the authorities, see what we could do. And what's crazy for this guy, Antonio, is he was only in jail for 5 years. This is the randomest thing. The mom, Maria, was at a bus stop and she was minding her business. Behind her, this man goes and says, how has your daughter been? And she turns around and sees that it's this guy, Antonio, and he was basically taunting her. He's
No
pretty much
way.
being like, I'm free.
Yeah.
He's literally walking to a bar at that time to go drink with his friends. She is super enraged to the point where she goes to a local gas station, grabs a canteen of gasoline. While he's sitting with his friends, she douses him with the gasoline and sets him on fire, killed him in front of his friends in that bar.
Oh my god. How long did she go to jail for because of that?
Oh, that's a great question, bro. She gets 5.5 years.
She got more than bruh.
Thank you very much. She
That's
got more
crazy.
years in prison for doing what she did than what he did for his original crime.
That's insane, dude.
You know what I'm saying? I don't condone violence, but he definitely deserved that.
So you guys don't think that Antarctica is a hub that's being used for cooling or freezing technology in order to freeze the Leviathan or the snake or the Kundalini of the earth in real time? Because why is it that when you look all over the map of the earth, the only place that's all white in snow is Antarctica? Because what do you mean every country can come together and sign a peaceful agreement to leave Antarctica alone, but when it comes to this reality, then unity is impossible? Because who else can tell me why does Antarctica look like it's holding some type of wand technology and is freezing the head of the snake over here, right? Look at the head of the snake, that big dragon Leviathan thing. And then look at Antarctica. It looks like it has some type of technology. It's holding some type of technology and is freezing the snake in real time in space. And then they have the nerve to call it Antarctica. Antarctic. Like if something ain't Arctic, that means it's not cold, it's not frozen, or at least it's not supposed to be a frozen tundra. So this right here would make perfect sense as to every country on earth has signed this peace treaty to keep the dragon asleep, because you guys do know that snakes are cold-blooded, right? Y'all do know that. You see, snakes aren't just cold-blooded, they are what's called ectothermic, meaning they don't generate their own body heat like mammals do. Their body temperature matches their environment, kind of like this, right? I mean, if you're around a frozen tundra as Antarctica, aren't you going to be frozen in time because you can't regulate your body temperature? They regulate heat by basking in the sun, hiding in the shade, or moving between warm and cool surfaces. Snakes slow down or go dormant in cold weather. Snakes slow down or go dormant in cold weather. Do y'all remember the Leviathan video I made last year and I showed you guys how his head has shifted? The head of the Leviathan was actually looking straight ahead and now it's like turning towards Antarctica, like it's coming for Antarctica. And now look at this one. It says cold snaps can immobilize or even kill them if they can't thermoregulate. So once again, why would you call a place Antarctica if it's not an Arctic? This is exactly the reason why we're all feeling this different level type of cold that we have never felt before, y'all, because the ice in Antarctica is melting. I mean, if they're not lying about the maps, which we all know that they are, this type of cold to reach all the way down to Florida is not making sense. And this actually makes perfect sense as to why they are in Venezuela right now. You guys do know the mouth of the other Levi is Venezuela, right? Look at the head of the Levi over here. And then Jamaica and Haiti. That's why everything was happening in Jamaica and Haiti earlier this year with the hurricane. I'm about to make a part 2 to this video. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. The shift is here, y'all. Let's get it. Peace in.
There's actually no way. You have to stop with this now. I swear. You've heard about, aliens building the pyramids or, some kind of extraterrestrial life form. Dinosaurs? Really? I'm not shitting you right now. There are genuinely people that genuinely believe that dinosaurs actually built the pyramids single-handedly. This is just one of the most crazy theories I've ever heard. I don't even know what to say. Now, the reason people believe this is because reportedly there has been large claw marks found on structures nearby to the pyramids, which yes, could indicate dinosaurs because maybe they did live there billions of years ago. But no, there's a lot of people that actually believe that the dinosaurs were there picking up the massive slabs of rock and just going around building it. Like what, were they possessed by the Anunnaki to build a structure? I don't think so, mate. We know that the pyramids don't add up. Like, the way that they were built is absolutely insane, and there is something very strange about it. I think dinosaurs is just beyond a stretch. Beyond a stretch. I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 10 on the believability scale because this just didn't happen, mate, did it?
I think aliens building the pyramid is more believable than dinosaurs.
Scientists could be releasing a real medicine that could help dogs live longer, and it sounds fake, but it's actually happening. So this is real. There's an actual biotech company that's working on a new medicine that could be designed to help dogs live longer and healthier lives, and it could be available as soon as next year. This company is called Loyal, and they're developing anti-aging drugs specifically for dogs. The most advanced one that they're working on right now is a daily pill that's designed to slow down the aging process by targeting how a dog's metabolism changes as they get older. Basically, to sum that up in a way that we would understand it, is that it mimics the benefits of caloric restriction, which we already know can extend lifespan without starving the dog or making them lose weight. They're running a massive clinical trial right now with over 1,000 senior dogs across dozens of vet clinics, and the FDA has already reviewed the data and agreed that there is a reasonable expectation that it works. This obviously isn't going to make dogs live forever, but the goal is to give them more healthy years, not just keep them alive longer with health problems. Just make sure that you go ahead and add me on my profile now, because I'll be following this and I will post an update if and when this gets approved.
What would happen if you tried flying over the White House in real life? The White House is protected by the P-56 restricted airspace, and that means no prop planes, no commercial planes, not even drones can fly over it. Here's a map showing you guys the airspace on which you cannot fly around the White House. So let's say that you took off in your Cessna and you have plans to fly over the White House. Here's how your flight would go. Spoiler alert, you're gonna end up dead. Once you take off, you'll already have a flight plan on what airport you're gonna land at. The flight plan won't have you flying anywhere close to the White House, so here's what you're gonna do instead. When you're halfway through your flight and you're a little bit close to the White House, maybe a couple hundred feet or miles away, you gotta immediately turn your plane and go straight into the White House. The second you start turning, air traffic control is gonna immediately hit you with something. They're gonna say something along the lines of, "What are you doing?" If you choose to ignore that call out by ATC, they're gonna then send fighter jets to intercept you. The next thing that's gonna happen is the fighter jets are gonna shoot you down and butter! So if flying a Cessna over the White House is on your 2025 bingo card, you might want to not do that unless you want to get shot down or spend the rest of your life in jail. But let me know if you guys would ever try this.
He said, let me know if you guys would ever try this.
World records that will never be broken. Vesna Vulovic fell from 33,000 feet, a record for the highest fall without a parachute. She landed in snow and broke every single bone in her body, but survived. William James Sidis holds the record for the highest IQ at an estimated 280, which meant that by age 2, he could read the New York Times and spoke 10 languages by age 8 and entered Harvard at 11. He gave lectures on 4-dimensional bodies as a preteen. Jose Salvador Alvarenga got lost on a small boat in the Pacific Ocean. He traveled 6,000 miles offshore by accident, surviving on just raw fish and rainwater. He was rescued after 1.5 years, a record survival time at sea. Paul Kern took a bullet to the head in World War I and never slept again. Doctors said it was impossible, but he lived another 40 years, wide awake.
What's crazy is we were just talking about how a mid-air collision would make you fall 30,000 feet. At first woman that he was talking about literally fell 33,000 feet and survived.
You guys heard about the terrorist attack that the FBI stopped that was going to happen in Los Angeles on New Year's Eve? These are the 4 suspects that they arrested, and I just got to say, like, what is up with the eyes, bro?
I had actually been able to film them. Here it is right here on your screen, testing these bombs out in the Mojave Desert.
People were out in the middle of the desert testing out bombs, and the FBI had their asses on drone footage. I want you to hear some of the tactics that these 4 weirdos were going to use, because it's really disturbing.
First off, they did plan to establish an alibi during the bombing by leaving their phones at home and have them streaming a movie for a long time to make the appearance at their home with their phone. When they were going to do their attack, they also suggested putting a pebble in their shoe to alter their gait. So the gait identification software out there would possibly be thrown off. They also suggested when buying the materials that they buy them in small quantities and split up the purchases, and ideally split the purchases among multiple people.
As you can tell, these 4 weirdos were in fact dangerous people. This was a huge win for the FBI, a huge win for the people of LA, and a huge win for our country not to have this tragedy happen.
The FBI is on a different level, because how do you know all that information? Like, I know damn well none of them told them that they're going to do that. They just saw someone on a drone and was like, yep, they're planning an attack, and then they got him. Insane.
They found this partially buried on the beach.
Without context, this video is extremely confusing. However, I was actually able to find out exactly what was going on here. This is a video that went super viral on TikTok, and at first you can't see what's going on. There are 2 people here, and they're very focused on this particular spot on the Earth, and then out of nowhere, a very large object in the Earth here starts moving. Initially, you might think that this was a boulder becoming dislodged or something like that, but the object was actually living. What we're looking at is one of the most beloved animals in the entire world, the sea turtle. For those that didn't know, for sea turtles, when it's time to reproduce, they will crawl up onto the land and then they'll dig a hole to lay their eggs in. Usually this type of thing goes off without a hitch. However, there are certain scenarios where sea turtles will get stuck, and because all species of sea turtles are endangered at this point, it is crucial to save them because you need to make sure they continue to reproduce. I'm not too sure how exactly this sea turtle managed to get themselves stuck underneath all of these roots, but regardless, they were able to save it and it quickly made its way back to the water.
People have just realised why they actually see random faces in the dark. You've probably all had it before at some point where you're in your room at night and objects in the dark look like people. Or you suddenly spot something that looks like a face, even though there's nothing there, or is there? So your brain is actually wired to find faces. It's literally a survival instinct. Same way, not just in the dark, but in photos. Even like this photo of Mars, people instantly saw that this looked like a face, even though it's not. When your brain doesn't have enough visual information, it fills in the gaps with what it can imagine, which is most of the time, faces. That's why shadows can sometimes look like someone is just standing there staring at you when there actually isn't. Scarily enough, it's actually the exact same mechanics and system that causes sleep paralysis, so all of you have kind of experienced it in one way or another. Your brain is basically always guessing, and 90% of the time at night, it's guessing wrong and there isn't anybody there. But you never know, on the off chance, there could be someone standing there. And it's your brain's way of actually protecting you, as back in the OG times, the old cavemen would have had to look out and their brain be alert if someone was genuinely there.
No, nobody was inside of the vehicle.
Ho ho ho!
Not too sure why this is being reported on like it just now happened. Must be a slow news day, I guess, but I will talk about it. This video was just recently posted to a whole host of TikTok accounts, like the Daily Mail, for example. In it, we can see a vehicle in the process of being swallowed up by a sinkhole. As previously mentioned, this happened a while ago, back in 2021 in India. Sinkholes, we've talked about many times. It's the result of underground erosion, typically by water, that weakens the stability of the surface, and eventually it becomes so unstable that it caves in. This case was a little bit different though, because this concrete, this parking lot here, was resting on top of a previously existing well, so there was already a hole there. And whatever support they put underneath the concrete was wiped away by a bunch of rain that had recently struck, which is why it got weakened and the car was swallowed up. And for those wondering, do not worry, there was nobody inside of the vehicle. Don't let this distract you from the fact, though, that sinkholes can open up really anywhere, and there's sometimes not really any indication that it's going to happen. So, live life to the fullest, I guess.
He's pretty much just saying at any time, you could be chilling, doing what you're doing, and then boom, you just get sucked up by a sinkhole.
New York City is literally sinking underneath the weight of its own skyscrapers, and scientists are now officially at a point where they can measure the fact that it's happening. Scientists are saying that New York City has over 1 million buildings, and together they weigh about 1.68 trillion pounds. Obviously, everybody knows that New York City is huge and has a ton of skyscrapers, but that number in weight is incredibly important. These scientists have found by using satellite and GPS data that parts of the city are sinking by about 2 millimeters every single year. Nobody wants this to sound too dramatic because that number is incredibly small and the city is obviously sinking extremely slowly, but it is measurable and it's happening right now. The city isn't sinking just because of the skyscrapers. They're saying that the weight does play a really big role, especially in areas that are built on softer soil that compresses under pressure, but it's only part of the reason. They found that New York City is also sinking because the land is still adjusting from the last ice age. These massive glaciers pushed the Earth's crust down thousands of years ago, and the ground is still trying to settle from that. They're also saying that rising sea levels are contributing to this. On top of that, when the land is sinking and the ocean is rising at the same time, flooding becomes more frequent, storm damage gets worse, and coastal cities become far more vulnerable even without extreme weather. Year after year, the ground in New York City is sinking just a little bit lower.
You add that up over a course of hundreds of years? Yeah, it's definitely gonna sink. Plus the rising sea levels. I'm gonna be in NYC tomorrow if any of y'all are out there.
Are some of the world's most famous celebrities bound to a particular contract which makes them do certain things and pay homage to certain entities? Or is this all a coincidence? Wait till you see how many celebrities we're talking about here. Remember Zac Brown Band, Toes, that song was great. And now we have him doing this demonic stuff, man. I don't know how you could say it's love and light. You got Katy Perry, we already knew. Tate McRae, I've never heard of, but apparently she's in the club too. And my understanding, by the way, is that you got to make a deal. In your career, if you're in the entertainment industry, you're going to make a deal. And if you don't make the deal, you're not going to be famous and rich to the degree that these people are. You got to sign the deal, and then you got to do this. That's the going theory. Now, if you have a different theory, which explains why, like, every single celebrity ends up doing some seriously interesting stuff with, well, it's demonic imagery, man. The Weeknd had a performance in the Netherlands which literally flashed the word Satan on the giant billboard behind him while he was performing. And that was proven. You can pause the video and look. It said Satan in Netherlands in front of, like, I don't know how many, 50,000 people. So are these all coincidences? We have to logically think here. Now, I understand that it's an uncomfortable thought. Megan Fox too, of course. It's an uncomfortable thought that there's, like, some type of club that worships, you know, Baphomet and Satan. But I mean, being uncomfortable doesn't mean, and remember Mr. Beast doing the devil horns on that video with Rockefeller Foundation? Just, you know, it may make you uncomfortable, but that doesn't mean you gotta think it doesn't exist. Lil Wayne too. I mean, yeah, it's not a fun thought, but it's pretty freaking obvious, dude. Sam Smith too. He was one of the, you know, yeah, that was crazy, man. Taylor Swift, of course. And she convinced millions of young women to act like her as well, which she went from, like, young and innocent and chill to, like, demon worship on stage. I mean, it's just shocking, man. I don't miss any, I mean, I don't listen to any of these people anyway, but it's adultery, man. Idolatry, rather. Adultery too, they probably, you know, promote that. But you know what I mean? It's freaking shocking. So we're witnessing a rebellion against the natural world, against God, and we're in the midst of it. Are you going to listen to these songs after this video? I would suggest not, man, if you want your vibrational frequency to remain high.
Definitely a lot of devilish things going on in the music industry. It did say Lucifer was the leader of the choir, so...
There was one game that was trending in the Hispanic community, El Juego de la Copa. I've never heard about this one. The way this game is played is you have, like, a wine glass or a chalice. They put it obviously on the table, and surrounding the cup, it's cut out paper with words on it. Same thing like a Ouija board, but just without the actual board. The only reason why it became infamous or how it even made the news was because in 2015 there was this news channel that covered a case where these 5 kids in Argentina, ranging from the ages of 12 to 16, they played this game and they ended up committing. So a lot of people say that this game is cursed. And then there's another incident where a 12-year-old girl played the game as well. I don't know if she played it by herself or played it with other people. And gets possessed. But there's audio of her possession. Yes, bro.
Este drama comenzó en diciembre. Lo hicieron en la casa de unas amigas de la escuela, una pijamada. Y hoy en día estamos viviendo esto, que es un infierno.
¿Qué pasó ese día y qué le pasa a Milagros hoy?
Y ese día hicieron el juego de la copa, bajaron es un espíritu. Ella no estaba en el juego, estaban todas las amigas, en entorno, sobrinas, y ella estaba en la cama sentadita, según lo que declara, ¿no? Y hoy tenemos que estar viviendo lo que está pasando con ella. El audio es escalofriante. El video erizante.
Yo, that's fucking scary, bro. And she's
Now, if there's one thing you gotta know about the United States of America is every state has different laws. Brene ain't know that. You see, Brene is a TikToker from North Carolina, and she was just ordered to pay $1.75 million for, listen closely, stealing her friend's husband. You see, the thing is, in North Carolina, check your laws. If you interfere in somebody's marriage, you can get sued. Here go Brene right here. Here go the husband in question. His name is Tim. Now, one thing for sure, two things for certain. If you look at this picture and think these two are just chilling, then you might want to look into your own relationships. But I digress, because I want you to meet Akira, the friend who allegedly got cheated on, the friend who sued Brene and won. There go Tim again. One day out of the blue, Tim rolls up to her and says, "Hey, I got a friend that's finna pull up. They're gonna stay over for a bit." Akira said, "Bet, what's his name?" Tim said, Brene. You see, it turns out Brene was having problems in her own relationship, so she wanted a place to stay. So Tim and Akira let her stay over at their crib. Now, Akira thought her and Brene were cool, so she started telling Brene all types of things. Akira tells Brene, "Yeah, Tim cheated on me before, man. Like, it was really hard." Brene said, "Oh, Tim cheated?" Akira said, "Yup. What's going on with your hands, though?" Brene said, "Oh, don't mind me. It just get cold in North Carolina sometimes." All of a sudden, Brene start wearing short skirts around the crib, start bending over when she don't need to bend over, doing all that. Tim said, "Oh, word?" Akira said, "Oh, word?" Oh, word. Tim was on that. Boy couldn't help himself. They start cheating. Akira sees a video of them cheating. Now, here's where things start to get wicked. Remember, I told you Brene is a TikToker. She had about like 2 million followers at the time. She started posting videos, pictures of her with Tim. So she can't deny it. It's online. When they get to court, Akira get to showing the pictures and videos. The jury said, no, they're definitely not just chilling. So in court, Brene jumps out and says, "Look, me and Tim got into a relationship. But Akira was cool with it happening. We had her consent. So it's technically not cheating." The jury said, "Okay, technically you guilty though." Oh yeah, it was a quick case. They ordered her to pay $1.75 million quick. Now, technically Brene had to pay $1.5 million for interfering in a marriage and causing someone to lose affection for another person. And she had to pay another $250,000 for watching Netflix, if you don't know what that means, look in the comments, with somebody while they were married. Damn, if you live in a state in the United States, check your laws.
Bro, if everyone had to pay $1.5 to $2 million for cheating, I feel like the divorce rates would actually go down. There would be less cheating.
Obama, at this point, it's clear that you don't care and you just want everyone to see who you truly are. So just recently, Barack Obama would go on a Zoom call where he would show his support to a group of State House Democrats who fled from Texas to Illinois. In the midst of him showing his support to these people, you can see a stone-like object in the background with some very weird symbols on it, specifically meaning boy lover. Y'all must remember that these people follow the laws of karmic retribution, meaning they have to show us what they're doing or they're going to face bad karma for it. And let's not forget back in 2020 when Obama would go on an interview with Kamala Harris and they would only speak in pedophile code. And when you really understand what these code words actually mean, it's truly sickening. I can't believe this man hasn't been incarcerated yet. I'm gonna pin the code words down below so y'all can make out what he's saying, and y'all let me know what y'all think down below in the comments.
Critical if we are to lead effectively. Right. So tell me about Joe and your relationship with Joe, and what do I need to know? Like, what's the thing about the ice cream? He loves ice cream. Tell me about that.
Well, listen, ice cream is big. Pasta with red sauce, he can go deep on that. He really does like those aviator glasses.
Guy was literally missing for 22 years. The only reason why they found him was a picture on Google Maps. Oh shit. And it was in a nice ass suburban neighborhood. The day he went missing, he told his girlfriend that he was gonna go to the club. No like missing person alerts, no Amber alerts for this guy. His family was like, he probably got abducted. We're not gonna do anything about this because no one's gonna find him. There's no like reports on him. One day, randomly 22 years after, this guy's on Google Maps and then he's looking at this little lake with a bunch of suburban houses, right? And then he sees a little car by the side of the lake. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna zoom in, tilt my head a little. And he's like, okay, what the heck? I'm gonna report this to the police. This is weird, right? So police come come pull the car out and it has a bunch of algae, right? They flip the car. In the car, there's still a skeleton with the seat still buckled. Oh, shit, that's you know crazy. what I mean? This is the sidewalk, and this is the car that's been there for 22 years.
Damn,
like
and just
people-
nobody like paid attention to it.
Like kids grew up from 0 to 20 probably with that thing in their backyard.
You knew there was a car in the lake, but nobody would have thought a body was in the car.
You just say that they knew that there was a car in the lake but didn't think there was a body in it? Dude, at least someone could have said something, you know what I'm saying?
What is going on now? I actually swear to God, man. Recently, scientists discovered some kind of new object on Mars which could indicate some kind of life form there. But they also published a first photo in a very long time of the actual landscape which just looks like the desert in Nevada. But people have been going crazy over these photos. Everybody's been freaking out after seeing this. Do you want to know what the response was? Looks depressing. I mean, well, what do you expect? There's not going to be a flipping Marks and Spencers on Mars, is there? The sky isn't even blue. It's literally like a dust planet. What do you expect? People are apparently just finding out that the US actually wanted to nuke the moon. Yeah, I'm deadly serious. In the 1950s, the US genuinely did want to nuke the moon in order to just create a massive dent and crater on the planet, so that if Russia somehow got there first, they would know that America has kind of made its dent. Of course, that's just the most American thing ever. Just put an eagle on the moon as well. A mother has just shown a terrifying photo of her son's lung who had been vaping for every day. More and more reason to basically stop doing that when you see this photo. That is what it actually looks like. And you think that's good for you?
At this point, the vapes are kind of worse than just smoking. The lungs become sticky, filled with all types of unknown oils.
Devil's Lake in Wisconsin. This lake has everything. Dead giants, leviathan, serpents. It's in the mountains. It's a glacial runoff. And they speculate it could be 10,000 years old. The native people in that region, the Ho-Chunk people, talk about around this lake there was these red-headed giants that would terrorize the Ho-Chunk people. And so the Ho-Chunk people basically prayed to their god or gods or whatever to help get rid of these giants. One day there was this big storm that came over and it said fire rained down from the sky, killed all the giants. Ho-Chunk people said that for years the lake was red with the giants' blood.
Oh my gosh. Holy moly.
That's not where it ends. This lake was inhabited by a giant wise serpent. It would also just consume and take people that would go by the lake. They tell the story of a thunderbird, giant sky being. So not necessarily a bird.
So that was just the nickname.
Yeah, this thunderbird went to battle with the serpent that occupied the lake. Said like this storm was just over the lake and it was just lightning. Ultimately, the thunderbird killed the serpent, and that's not where it ends.
Oh no!
Because even today, people report for the past 100 years they're seeing a giant serpent-like creature in this lake still. More weird is that the military has done multiple exercises in this lake.
Really?
Yeah, they have restricted underwater zones. There's been reports of unmarked black vehicles after these sightings, and there's occasionally those like stealth helicopters that fly around this lake.
If they're getting involved, there's something there.
Something there.
That's gotta be.
Here's something I bet you never thought of about space, the sun, and rockets. So we can all agree that fire cannot continue without oxygen, right? It is a vital, it's fuel source. Without oxygen, fires are extinguished. Now, when we see rockets take off from Earth, we do see them curve. Also, that is like a known, you will not see a rocket go straight up. It always curves. So the question is, and NASA, of course, probably knows the answer to this question, how is it that a rocket would be able to propel itself continually through space, for one, with no oxygen? For two, even if it's in a vacuum, on the Earth, rubber tires push off of the pavement to get thrust. Planes push off the air, and boats push off of water. So what exactly would these rockets be pushing off of in the vacuum of space? That's another question. Now, could it be that the rockets always curve after they launch? Because if they were to make it into space, they would cease any thrust at all because they wouldn't be able to combust because there's no oxygen. What if they were curving to avoid hitting the firmament? What if Disney showed us this hint in the movies we grew up watching? What if NASA, which we know translates to something very interesting in another language, is actually pretty significantly deceiving us? What then? Notice how many celebrities also wear clothes with the NASA logo on them. Almost like it's part of the deal they gotta sign. Hey, make sure you promote NASA too. Also notice that people look up to celebrities as stars. When we used to look up to the stars for guidance, people look up to Hollywood stars today for guidance, but they're getting guided in the wrong freaking way.
So Justin Bieber just a couple days ago posts this of his son at the golf course. And does this look familiar at all? Now, if you don't know, let me show you. Yeah, so you guys remember these logos. He knows that we know. And here's another one for good measure. I mean, why else would he put a pizza over his kid's face? I mean, 1 time is one thing, 2 times is a coincidence, 3 times is a trend. He posts this video during the Diddy trial of him eating pizza. Once again, if you know, you know, pizza. And I wonder, is he adding more fuel to the fire because the entire music industry is about to crumble with radio and labels facing a major RICO case with money laundering and racketeering. All kind of shit's about to go down. And you guys remember earlier this year that he posted this picture in March with his son in front of a screen with shipping containers. And we all know kids plus shipping containers equal trafficking. If you guys need more coincidences, he actually posted that on March 22nd, 322, which is Skull and Bones, 322. Now, I would love to talk to him, but I know he won't speak, but here's how he's speaking through these symbols. And you guys at this point know that Justin Bieber has been in the industry a long time. He's seen a lot. He's done a lot. He knows a lot. So for him to be dropping these clues is a telltale sign of what's been going on a long time in the industry, but he's trying to communicate with us. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know below.
He's not wrong. Justin Bieber has been dropping a lot of cryptic messages. I said in a previous video that I think that the video where he was eating the pizza with the thermal lighting was honestly just like him trying to be cool. But the picture with the kid and the pizza on her face, that was quite weird. I'm not gonna lie. Let's just see if Justin Bieber keeps posting stuff like that. Then we'll really know.
Thank you all for watching this here video.